Good morning, my friends. Do you remember today's 9/11? It's Coffee with Len. It's early Friday, early Wednesday morning, and it's the anniversary of the destruction of the Twin Towers, 9/11. Hello, Betty. Good morning, Betty. I suppose that we probably most of us remember where we were and what we were doing. It was such a traumatic moment. Excuse me. Phoenicia, good morning. I'm sure there are some people that don't remember because they weren't alive yet or they were very young. I remember where I was. I was actually at a meeting in Las Vegas, and we suddenly saw the picture come on the television screen in the hallway of the North Tower when it was hit with the first plane. And we stood in disbelief. At that time, in that early instant, the first few moments, it looked like a really bad accident. And being a pilot myself, it was very hard for me to fathom how a commercial airliner could run into a building the size of the World Trade Centers. And then the second plane hit, and we began to understand that something much bigger was going on. And then the entire aviation system in the country was completely shut down. We had no way to get home. I was in Las Vegas, and the only way back to Livermore, where I lived at the time, was to rent a car and drive. There were no flights. We couldn't fly. So, most of us remember where we were. And over the years, there's been theories and there's been pictures that have tried to show that there was maybe a second explosion and was it planned and was it an inside job? And I fall back on the Occam's razor. William Occam was a Franciscan monk in the 14th century, I think, and he said, with the lack of any other real substantial evidence, the simplest explanation is always the right one. The simplest explanation is it is what it seemed to be. It was a terrorist attack that took out almost 3,000 lives without warning. And we need to remember that. Hello, Paul. Good morning, Paul. And we need to remember that. I had an argument. No, sorry, discussion. It wasn't an argument. It was a discussion the other day with a friend who was talking about the really terrible conditions at the border and the separation of families and children and stuff. And I agree. That's a terrible thing. But on the other hand, I have to look the other direction and say, from the other direction and say, well, look, if all these thousands of people didn't get in the Caribbean and march and try to cross the border of the United States illegally, they wouldn't be in this predicament that they're in. The sad reality is, my humble opinion, and it is my opinion, I'm sure it's shared by others, the sad reality is we have enemies, and we just simply can't open our borders and let anyone pour across who wants to pour across. It's that simple. I wish we could. I'd love nothing better than to say that it's okay, we can throw open our southern border and just let them come on in. This is America, everyone's welcome. It's America, everyone's welcome. As long as you come legally and get matriculated into the country completely and support our way of life substantially, you're welcome. I was living in Scappoose, Oregon, and visiting in California when the towers were hit. I didn't get home for 2 weeks. Just couldn't get a flight. I remember it well. So let's not forget the message. The message is that our way of life isn't guaranteed. Our life isn't guaranteed. Our way of life isn't guaranteed. Freedom isn't free. And we have to be always vigilant to protect what we have. So we have the most incredible society that has ever been formed on Earth. And for all the things that are wrong, and there are things wrong, we need to work to make it better, not to destroy the fabric of what we have, but to build on the fabric of what we have and make it better. And for those who want to come into our country, welcome aboard. Come legally and matriculate into the society and support the ideals, the way of life. For those others, go home. And for the folks that died on 9/11, may they rest in peace. Such a tragic and unnecessary chapter in our history. Real wake-up call. A real wake-up call. Thank you, Paul. So that's all for today. Remember, be happy. The happier you are, the more happy the universe can bring. And be compassionate. The world needs a whole lot more of that. Imagine if every human being on the earth practiced compassion, we wouldn't have 9/11s. They simply wouldn't occur. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.